Yesterday was the big day. We had the Super Bowl of content where DSP was on the Asmongold stream. Now, a little bit of background here, as Lunduke, you do not know who Darkside Phil is.
I don't know who Darkside Phil is. Sounds like some Gen Z ridiculousness to me.
Okay. So what you need to know, and I started explaining this before the show, but I thought it'd be best for everybody here. Darkside Phil has been on the internet for 20 plus years. He's an old head like myself, right? Darkside Phil has not progressed his content in 20 years, unlike other people, right? And so I knew Darkside Phil long time ago. And when SideScrollers was coming back, I reached out to a bunch of people that I had known previously and was like, hey, would you like to be on the show? Little to my knowledge, Darkside Phil had developed a reputation since the last time I'd spoken to him, like a long time ago. And that reputation was that of being the consummate e-beggar online. The consummate...
Wait a minute. Darkside Phil is spelled with a Y in the middle?
Listen, it's uber elite, all right? Yes.
Okay, sorry, continue. I'm finding out about this guy for the first time. You go. I don't mean to disrupt. Go.
So he has developed a reputation over the many years, and he had not been on a show in a long time. He felt like he had been wrong the last time he did an interview. So when we announced that, and this was like within 2 weeks of SideScrollers started, we announced that Darkside Phil was going to be on the show, and it was like the internet broke because Darkside Phil did not appear on shows. He did his own thing. He only cared about positive, chill content. So when he was announced to come on our show, it was like an atom bomb went off, and it was like, holy crap, do you know what you've done? And I was kind of like, honestly caught off guard by the amount of pushback, not even pushback, just the amount of attention that the announcement got. So in my conversations with Phil, the email conversations we had was he expressed concerns about, about his detractors, is what he calls them, detractors, and kind of went back and forth. And he's like, so I said, hey, look, we should probably do this first conversation as an interview. And he goes, great. I want this to be the definitive Darkside Phil interview. Okay. So we did a 5-hour interview with Darkside Phil. And what you need to know about that interview is that there's a lot of like pseudo controversies and things that he had been accused of. And he saw this as an opportunity to clear the air on everything that we had ever done. So I went in like super prepared, and we did an interview with him. And we finished the interview, and everything went really well. And I actually have emails that I'll show you guys shortly about how impressed he was with the interview. And that changed literally the next day, because we did that interview, I believe, on a Thursday. It went 5 hours. We were extremely tired. And then we all just kind of like, after it was done, and Blabs was there, she was there on the back end, and it was like, okay, well, we'll see everybody tomorrow. So the next day we talked about the interview, and Adam was on the interview as well. Adam was very critical of Phil. And during that time, a lot of people came in and they supported with a lot of super chats and direct donations and things like that, telling us, hey, you guys did a good job on this interview. Well, that flipped Phil. He was really pissed that we talked about the interview without him, which was really weird to us, and still is. Anyways, ever since then, Phil has had a hate boner for SideScrollers, and he felt like we wronged him. He felt, in his words, that we snaked him. And I even went on his show not too long ago, I don't know, within the last year or so, as he invited me on his Level 1 podcast. And the entire time he was just pretty much trying to, I went on there to explain everything. I thought I did a pretty good job. And any sensible person who actually watched the show would realize everything that we did, and understand things pretty clear as day. I put it out there, but he set it up with this idea of he wanted me to say, that he's welcome back on the show, and then for him to ultimately say, I'm not interested, fuck off, and then boot me off the show. And
that was the purpose of it, you think?
Yeah, it totally was, right? And it was like this big gotcha, Craig, and hooray, Phil wins. It was, everybody kind of saw right through it. With all that said, we have been linked to DSP because of all that stuff. And he was invited on Asmongold's stream after Asmongold did some reaction stuff to him. And Phil, to his credits, was able to get about an hour and 45 minutes with one of the largest streamers in the world yesterday. And to Phil's credit, he won over a lot of people. I would say it was actually a pretty big W for Phil, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Way to go, Mr. Phil with a Y.
That's right. Phil with an I, side with a Y. Let's be clear.
Oh, sorry.
Can I interject just really fast?
Yes.
From an outside perspective, I would have argued that he would have came across really good on your show when you guys were doing it, had he been as honest as he said he was going to be, but he didn't. That's what caused the friction. That's what caused day 2. But had he just did what he did with Asmongold with you guys, I think he would have been equally embraced by the audience.
Correct.
That's just my 2 cents.
I 100% agree. And that's one thing that it should be pointed out is we asked him about several things during that interview, and he continued to lie about them. Now, he later came out as being honest about those things. One of those things being he had been known for playing a mobile game called WWE Champions and spending thousands of dollars on this. And people had called him on this, and he continuously lied about this because people were like, well, hey, if we're going to donate to you, we want to know where this money's going, right? And he continuously lied about this thing. We asked him about this, spent a good portion of our interview talking about that, and he continuously lied about it over and over and over again. Well, about a year later, he came out and was like, look, okay, it was my account and blah, blah, blah. With all that said, he was on Asmongold yesterday, and they talked about his strategy of revenue for his streams. And with Phil being more or less an e-beggar, right? And I've talked about this on the show. Like, look, every time a streamer goes live, the reality is that we're no better than the person, than the panhandler on the corner down asking for money, putting on a show, and hopefully somebody puts some money down and it supports it, right?
Dancing monkey with the hat out. Yeah,
that's the reality of being a streamer on the internet. Period. Right? If you've ever turned on a webcam, you are up. Your audience will ultimately support you, or they will ultimately have you succeed or fail. Right? So DSP asked Asmongold about this, and there's a few nuggets in here. This is about a 4-minute clip, but I think it's worth looking at here. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this went.
Who asks for money a lot? Because like I'll see like there'll be a new video and it'll pop up on my YouTube recommendeds on my smart TV, and it will just show up. And it's like there's a new one like every day. How many times a day do you think you mention the amount of like people, like something in relation to you receiving money?
Well, every time that I receive something, I do a shout out. So you could argue that every single time someone contributes, I'm talking about it.
Well, like whenever you make a call, how often do you make a call to action or draw attention to the fact that you can donate money to your stream?
Every morning when I start, I bring it up. I'll say, oh, here's where we are with our goals for the week. And, here's what we're doing today with this and that. And here's how you can contribute. And then, during the course of if I'm doing a podcast or whatever, I might bring it up like halfway through the podcast or near the end of the show. If we're near hitting a goal.
Do you think that they want you to do it?
Do they want me to ask for contributions actively?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
But they want me to succeed.
Okay.
There was a day I actually tested it out. Not once did I ask for a contribution during an entire day.
So you went a whole day without asking for money?
Yes. I made $30.
Well, what's the average that you made? Well, okay, that's fine. But like, what's the average though? Like,
one of the things that I found really interesting about this before we continue here was very early in the conversation, Phil was talking about how people will clip his content and put it up on the internet, and how so Asmongold said, well, why don't you just claim them and collect all the money? And it was like a lightning bolt went off in Phil's brain where he's like, what? I can do that? And Asmongold suggested that he could potentially help him with that. And at that point, all the detractors were like, oh no, because if Asmongold was to help Phil claim their content, their revenue sources would go away as well. But it was interesting to see Phil's response to that. So it was like,
can I pull up Blabs real quick and just just a quick derail of nowhere? But every time I look at him, he reminds me of Brian O'Halloran from Clerks 2.
From Clerks,
looks nearly identical, and that's it. I just wanted to put that out there because I'm always like they look like clones.
Yeah, I can see that. He does. Yeah. He does look a little bit like the guy from Clerks.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
That's cool. Brian O'Halloran. Let's see exactly
Clerks
what.
2. Just do a search for Clerks 2, and you'll see it's the guy with the.
Well, I mean, he's in
the
all the
goatee.
Clerks, but yeah.
I can see this. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Here you
when
go.
he was a little heavier. That's why I'm.
Oh, I got you.
There you go. This is Phil here.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that for sure. Okay.
Not exactly a moment, but good try, Phoenix.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Let's go and continue here.
Before I do, though, I just want to say shout out on Rumble. There's over 7K people watching us, and we're featured on the front page of Rumble.
Hey, if you guys are new,
You're
make sure
welcome.
Yeah, let's go. You guys
All because of Lunduke.
make sure you guys hit the follow button and join us. Join the 28,000 who have found us over here on Rumble. We'd love for you guys to join us as we continue to sprout a little bit of comments. It's just a little housekeeping here, a little response to some nonsense here on the internet. But we're glad you guys have found us here on this nonsense day, which is great. Let's go and continue here as we see where this leads us.
Oh, wait. What's the average that I try to make a stream?
Yeah.
Or what's the average?
What's the average a
Every
day?
stream,
Yeah, a day.
I have
'cause
a
you
goal.
said you do see
Each stream that I do, I have a goal of $150, and I stream twice a day.
So you want $300 a day?
I would like that. I don't always get it. I do sometimes, and that's nice when I do.
What's the ratio that you get $300 in a day? Like how like what percent do you get it half the time? 20% of the
I would
time?
I would have to analyze. I would say today I actually get it more often than not. Today,
Wow.
Like it didn't used to be like that. It used to be a lot worse. And then what happened is in the last
Wow.
year and a half,
Wow, what?
Wait, what? You made $300 in a stream? Wow. No offense to Asmongold there. I'm just like, is that surprising? I mean, like, unless the guy's only got 40 people watching, it's not that wowable. I mean,
Well,
be honest.
Asmongold makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, right?
Right.
So-
I mean, he makes He makes millions every year off of his stream. So $300. Wow. How dare you ask for upwards of $30 here and there?
Yeah.
Wow. I am amazed at this is happening. Like, come on. It's
Let's
not that big
continue
of a
here.
deal.
Yeah, Rafflecopter says he streams to less than 200 people, 160 per stream, 2 days per day. Yeah, so it's a smaller
Oh,
audience.
really?
Yeah, so it's when I say smaller, it's still larger than the vast majority of the internet, but for his goals, though. Yeah, so let's
Okay,
go.
that is a really small audience. Yeah.
Let's go continue.
I admitted to the WWE Champions thing. I apologized for it to everyone for lying over the years. I said,
Okay, here's the part that is has to do with us.
it used to be a lot worse. And then what happened is in the last year and a half, I admitted to the WWE Champions thing. I apologized for it to everyone for lying over the years. I said, listen, it's in the past. I'm not doing that stuff anymore. As you can see, my money is actually going towards the set. It's going towards the business. It's going to
Hey, Blabs,
Hi.
did you ever get an apology from Phil about lying on our show? About
No.
him coming on and just blatantly lying to our face?
No,
I don't think he didn't apologize to everybody.
I never got anything.
Never received an apology once from
Is
Phil
this not
for
a lie on his part on itself? I don't recall him ever admitting to any of this or apologizing to anyone.
Well, he certainly didn't apologize to us and the audience that watched him that day for spending 5 hours lying about it. I don't think I ever received an apology from Phil, and I think that I would actually very much like a public apology from Phil for this. I think that'd be very big of him, which is good, because I think we've gone out of our way to be nothing but nice to Phil, and I'll back this up here in just a little bit, but. Anyways, that's where it
I
finished.
want an apology for the whole Y in the middle of his name thing. That's inappropriate. That's
Or
inappropriate. and
grammar,
uncalled
and
for.
Lunduke doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I understand how upset you are about it, but you're just gonna have to learn to deal with it, Lunduke. All right. Maybe you should put a Y at the end of Lunduke and just call yourself
Lundukey.
or Lundike.
Could do that. I'll
Oh,
take it
we
under
play that.
advisement.
We could play that rat race scene. It's like, I like your dyke. And then it's just Lunduke that shows up.
Well, it was interesting to watch the response to this, because the last 30 minutes of him was just him and Asmongold kind of just talking about video games, and it finished with Asmongold being like, "Hey, I'm going to be bringing back a podcast soon. Maybe you'd like to come on," which ultimately, big W for Phil. Like big W for Phil. And that's kind of been the response, is that Asmongold was captured by what the detractors call pignosis.
He got majorly gaslit. I mean, throughout that entire conversation, feels like, it's not a big deal. I just talk about my goals when I need to. And it's like, no, you constantly berate your audience for not giving you money. That is not at all what actually happens. There's a difference between being like, hey, we're trying to reach this goal versus how dare you watch and not give me money? Look at all this entertainment I'm showing you. Like, that's how he actually is.
There's a lot of truth in that. Yes. There's a lot of truth in that. But
Asmon, my God.
The reason why it worked on Asmongold, it was to me, it's really simple. When you admit to you have a hard truth that you need to come to grips with, and you admit it, and you're like, listen, guys, I have to admit, I've been lying this whole time. And people want to embrace that, and they want to accept. They want to go along with that apology and accept you. But he didn't do that. He doubled down. He was more quiet, and so that's why you had that friction. I'm repeating myself, but had he just done that with you guys, I think that there would have been a totally different tonal shift, completely.
Well, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
And maybe I'm missing something here. So this guy has been streaming on the internet for 750 years, since 1776.
Yep.
And currently he struggles to break a couple hundred people watching him when he live streams.
Mm-hmm.
Why would Asmongold have him on? Like, I'm not knocking people for interviewing him or you guys for doing it, but it kind of sounds like his time of relevancy ended with the end of the WWF. So what? I don't understand. Like, if no one's watching him.
That's actually that's actually a really great question. And I think there's a little bit of context that we need to have here, right? When we did our interview with Phil, he had not done an interview in years, right?
Sure.
He had gone out of his way to say no. And that's why we did kind of an in-depth clear the air on all these different rumors and controversies.
You did kind of like a VH1 Where Are They Now sort of a thing almost.
Right. Well, kind of. Right. But here's the thing. There's a lot of people who watch his stuff just because, just to see him. It's kind of like a reality show, right? But they take clips, they clip them, they take clips of him, begging to his audience and things like that. And so you see a lot of clips on social media of Phil doing these things.
Okay.
And no, they don't watch the entire stream, right? Nobody's going to spend 4 hours a day watching him produce chill, positive content, right? But he does have his hardcore audience, which is great. And that hardcore audience, if I can tie it back into this, I think it grew a little bit yesterday. As a matter of fact, I've always said I'm a numbers guy, and the numbers show that it was a big W for Phil. This may be the biggest W of Phil's life. Asmongold has actually bowed down to the Pignosis. Phil will be gaining whales and will be a regular guest for Asmongold. Phil won. Amazing W, Phil. This bitch was weak of mind. You enslaved and broke him, sire. King shit. And the metrics show this courtesy of Social Blade. Look at Phil's page. It went up 5,000 subscribers yesterday.
No,
because
the Pignosis is spread. No.
Yes.
Oh, good on him, though. Congrats, man.
I agree.
Congrats. Yeah, congrats.
I agree.
What is happening?
I have told Phil from the beginning.
Mally is one of those subscribers, I bet.
I have told Phil from the beginning, we only want what's best for you. And I've told him this over and over and over again. Good for Phil. Legitimately. Hey, guess what? He made bank yesterday. He made $1,300 yesterday on his stream, which is drastically up from his super chat goal here. Look at this. That's a giant spike. Congratulations. Even better, he tweeted out yesterday, because I stream with Asmongold, I got an official invite from Stake, a gambling company, to partner with them and make huge money. Look, things are turning up. What is so shocking about this?
This all seems pretty straightforward to me. You go on a show with, a bajillion people who watch it, and good things happen.
Oh my God. Yeah,
people click the follow button.
If you know the history of DSP, this is just like insane and like why? And this is going to crumble in a matter of days, I'm sure.
Well, I think it's inappropriate that anyone would follow or subscribe to anybody that uses a Y in the place of an I in their name. That's inappropriate to do. I'm hammer this point home. Your parents did a bad job of raising you if you would do that with someone. But otherwise, I'm like, okay, yeah, you go on a big show, you get a big result. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? I think that's like I said, good for Phil. And I told you I've been saying that we only want what's best for Phil. And I will show you that because I have the emails that we exchanged back after the show. And I think it's important. I will be tweeting these out momentarily just so everybody's on the same page. I feel like we got nothing to hide, but I think this really kind of points out the silliness and hypocrisy of everything that we had here. And I'm not going to read these all. I'll let you guys find them over on my social media. But just so you know, this is what they look like. This is literally from Dark Side Phil. These will be tweeted out.
He has a Hotmail email.
These will be after the this took place after the show, as you can tell by the timestamps, and you'll be able to go through one by one to see exactly the response and how he felt about this and how he felt really upset about this, but how he was upset about us talking about things afterwards, but. You'll be able to see directly from the horse's mouth the hypocrisy associated with this. And like I said, I'll be tweeting these out here in just a little bit for everybody. So yeah, it was quite an interesting conversation they had yesterday, and I felt the need that we needed to respond and possibly drop a little bit of receipts on this because I think it's important for people to see these things and to understand. I don't think I've tweeted these out before or shown these to people, but you can kind of see the two-faced nature of all this. So yeah, it's good. Hello, I'm Craig. Hit the subscribe button.